So let's talk about what it means to be salty. Hey y'all, this is Jamie. Welcome to this moment. I'm so glad that you joined me. I know this video was supposed to show up last week, but I had a lot of things going on, got my vaccine, and really had to rest. So now I'm back at it with you, and I want to talk about our identity. And today I'm talking about how God calls us to be salty. Now, we might feel like salty has a whole new definition, and it does. You'll hear kids say, oh, she was just being salty. Yes. And where does that definition come from, I wonder? So I went and looked it up because that's who I am. And Urban Dictionary talks about being salty as being bitter and sour and agitated, and it's usually coming from a place of reacting to either being made fun of or being embarrassed, or about something you're irritated or upset about something that's really not that big of a deal, and people will call you salty. So that definition has kind of worked its way into our thought processes about what it means to be salty. But God had something else in mind. And we find the verse in Matthew 5, verse 13. And this is what it says. You are the salt of the earth, but what good is salt if it has lost its flavor? Can you make it salty again? It will be thrown out and trampled underfoot as worthless. So that was Matthew 5:13, and Matthew is telling us how these are the words of Jesus. They're written in red in my Bible. If you don't have a red letter edition, still, they're the words of Jesus. So he's telling us that we should be salt in this world. Now, when Jesus said this, and when Matthew recorded it, he didn't have this new, definition of what salty means. What he was going off of was the mineral salt. And salt is a pretty awesome thing. First of all, me and salt sometimes have a relationship like this. I love salty snacks. And even when I have a sweet snack, as my mama says, I need a little salt to cut the sweet. Which is why I really like peanut and pretzel M&Ms, because there's a little bit of salt in there to cut the sweet. But it also makes the sweet seem sweeter. So Matthew and Jesus were both talking about the mineral salt. So what kinds of things can salt do? If we're supposed to be salt, what can salt do? Well, if you go and you look up salt and you look up the mineral and what it does, salt is actually absolutely essential to life. For you to be living, you have to have salt in your body. That's why when you sweat, it's salty. It's already in there. But you have to have salt because it helps your blood and the fluids in your body actually move the way that they're supposed to, and to carry different things throughout your body. You have to have salt. But also, salt is used in a lot of other things. Only 6% of the salt that's manufactured or mined only 6% of that is used for human consumption. The rest of it is used for preserving things, for cleaning things, for agricultural uses, and for de-icing. So it has lots and lots of uses, but Matthew and Jesus are talking about that kind of salt and not our bitter kind of salty. So when Jesus says to us, be salt in this world, he also makes a point to say that salt is no good if it's lost its flavor. So salt in this time period would have been used in trading. It would have been used for preserving. People went to war over salt. This stuff had value. So I think when we think about salt, it has no value when it's just sitting in a jar. All it's going to do is eventually lose its saltiness. It's going to lose its flavor. So the things that I think Jesus is pointing out to us here is that we should be salt. We should be flavorful. Okay? That means we shouldn't live dull lives. Okay? It's not like we are living this constant martyrdom of life as Christians. We don't have to live that way. We can live these full and exuberant lives because we rest in the one who has conquered death. We don't have to be afraid of that. Okay, so when it says that we should be flavorful, I don't think that that means that, you know, we need to make extra effort to liven up our church services and have the best looking praise band. Okay, I don't think that's what it means. I think it means for us to live full of life so that the people around us can see that this life that we lead, this Christian life, is a good life. Why not come and join us? Okay? But also, salt only has value when you're using it. It doesn't have value just sitting in that jar. So our Christian life, our faith in Jesus, is not going to do us any good just sitting in ourselves. We have to share it. We have to spread it out. And we have to give it away. There's that God economy I talked about before. We have to give it away in order for it to have value. And I think that's what Jesus was telling us, that we are the thing in this world that can clean, that can preserve. People even put it in their foot baths to draw out toxins. So we can clean and preserve and detox this world with our faith in Jesus. So I say, let's go out there and be salty. And not bitter and angry, but let's go be salty for Jesus. Let's preserve. Let's go detox people. Let's go help clean up this world in Jesus' name. I am so glad you joined me today. I pray that this has blessed you to be a blessing. If you enjoyed what you heard, please give us a thumbs up down there and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.